Good morning, everybody. Thank you all for joining us today. We're going to give the room a couple of seconds for people to fill in. And as we wait for that, I would like to give you a little bit of housekeeping here. As a reminder, this webinar is being recorded, and all registered participants will receive a copy of the recording as soon as we've had time to clean it up and edit it lightly. So if you are registered and something hits you within this, we will absolutely be getting a copy of the recording out to you. And a little different for how we normally handle our webinars. During this webinar, if you have questions, we are asking you to use the chat feature, not the Q&A feature. If you use the Q&A feature, that's absolutely fine. We'll figure out how to get it to the right spot. But please feel free to put your questions and your questions only in chat. And with that, we have a lot to go through today, so I'm going to kick us off right away. There is a joy in giving and in living, and Marcy Heim, CEO of the Artful Asker, wants you to experience it. For over 30 years, leadership teams, boards, and fundraisers around the world have benefited from Marcy's coaching to increase transformational, sustained generosity for their organizations. A certified speaking professional, an AFP master trainer, a Case Crystal Apple recipient, and an award-winning major giving executive coach, Marcy delivers tangible tools to set your intentions for personal and professional success. Her signature 3-sentence ask will get you a delighted yes. Marcy's best-selling book, Empowering Effective Ambassadors, has been translated for distribution beyond the US. And last year, Marcy received Crescendo Interactive's Spirit of a Leader Award. Listening to Marcy is guaranteed to rev up your zest for fundraising and life. And I don't want to stand in the way of that. So with that, I will turn it over to Marcy. Thank you so much for joining us, Marcy.
Thank you, Peter. And welcome to everybody who's here. And I do want to say thank you to Peter. I love the bow tie. And thank you to Park Bank for not only hosting me today, but for all of the programs that you have had and thank each and every one of you for taking time to join today. That's really great. So let's start out with this. Unmute yourself and yell, something good is going to happen to me. I want to hear you. Something good is going to happen to me. Let me get some unmuting. I'm not hearing you. 1, 2, 3. Something good is going to happen to me. Can they unmute themselves? Or are they frozen?
Hey, there we go. Somebody chatted in. Thank you, Eric. I don't believe that they can join via audio, Marcy.
Oh, okay. Well, that's news to me. Sorry, I didn't know that. Well, wherever you are, one more time. 1, 2, 3. Something good is going to happen to me. Why do we do this? Because I want to set the intention for our time together this morning. There you go. Oh, I'm seeing the chat. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. All right. I'm pleased to meet each and every one. You can keep, oh, hi, Christy. I'm pleased to meet all of you on this call. And I am all about changing your thinking and your words to inspire more generosity and, more importantly, more joy. And today is an overview. Friends, I have not done a board training in under 4 hours in forever. So I really struggle to say what are the nuggets I can bring to you in this little short hour that I have. And I will do my very best, but I want you to know a couple things. If you really have a passion to know something more, you can go to www.schedule a call with Marcy, and Erin is going to, yep, she already did. Erin, thank you. And set up some times. There are different options there. Grab 30 minutes or 15 minutes and talk to me. The other thing is when you chat all the questions, I do a blog only twice a month, and it comes out next Wednesday. And when I realized we'd have short time, I am dedicating my blog next week to simply answering all the questions I get in this webinar today. So if you chat a question in there, I promise you I will answer it next Wednesday in my blog. The other thing is that if you want more and you want to go deeper, I am working with AFP Global doing a deep dive for major gifts, and it's a virtual session the 18th and 19th of November. It's a 2-day series, 11 to 4 Central each day, And Aaron's put that in the chat as well. I put right on what the pricing is. I have nothing to do with this. I'm just the hired help. And it's $369 if you're a AFP member and $499 if you're not. And here is the link for that. It's limited though, and it always fills up. So I would encourage you if you think that would serve you to jump in. Okay, I am a singer. I also have a band here. A lot of you know I'm Marcy of Marcy and the Highlights. And I was at a program here a long time ago now, and Maya Angelou was the speaker. It was right here in Madison, Wisconsin. And in her talk, she said, "You want to compose a good world. It's an honorable and noble profession." And I went, bingo, that is the vision statement, the mission statement of all of us who inspire generosity and work with nonprofits to make this world a better place. The best part was at the end of this program, I went up and told her that, and she put her arm around me and we sang a song together. And to this day, it makes me tear up. It was actually a marvelous experience to meet her and spend this time with her. You want to compose a good world. It's an honorable and noble profession. So thank each and every one of you for getting out of bed every day and helping us compose this good world. I want you to know you do important work, but it's not really just work. You have a calling, not a job. Whether you're on the board or on the staff, you have a calling, not a job. And I want you to also know, even though sometimes it looks like the things we're dealing with are enormous, we're moving the needle. We're moving the needle. I see the impact of our work each and every day. So thank you. It's working. It's working. Thank you. So now I want you to chat, if you, and this really helps me. What if you got one thing out of my little bit of time with you this morning? What do you want to take about this? Do you want to have a conversation around board giving? That seems to inspire a lot of people. Board service, what should be board giving? Do you want to have more comfort talking about money and giving money? Do you want to be a help if you're a board member with the giving process? Do you want board or staff? Do you want clarity on giving options? Like, what exactly are you raising money for? Do you want to know exactly what to say to ask somebody? And I created this to ask for money, but honestly, you can ask for anything. I'm doing it in high schools now. And one of the guys said, ask a girl to prom. And it was hilarious because he said, "You have been beautiful since freshman year." Now, before that, who knows what she looked like? But anyway, it'll make more sense when we get there. You are creating lifelong givers. How to do that? Or is there something else, something I've completely missed? So I'll give you like 10 seconds here to just chat some stuff in. I kind of want to know, A, B, C, D, E, F, all of the above, some of the above. Give me a sense of what's most important to you as we move on. Oh, well, I'm glad I put the ask in here. I almost didn't do that. Board service. Okay. A, B, E, and F. Okay. I'm not getting a lot of C's. That's interesting. Okay. That's that partnership. Wow, I'm not getting hardly any C's at all. Okay, that's very helpful to me. Thank you. Moving forward, here is our agenda today. I broke it down into like 4 things that I'm going to try to do here. First off, creating a culture of generosity, because for our board as staff, that's where it all begins. How are we thinking about the work we're doing? Do we have a culture that inspires generosity? And 100% board giving. It's something I'm passionate about and I will speak to. The other thing I want to take you through is the cycle of successful relationships. I am not going to have time to talk about your chosen actions, but that's something we do work through in my board trainings. I do have a brief making an artful ask, and know that normally this would be something that when we were together we would do. You would write your own and I would coach you around that. We won't be doing that today, but you'll get the basics. And finally, some wisdom, and I want feedback, and then I've got some stuff for you. So think differently. Why is this important? Well, because we become what we think about. When I was 17, I got a hold of a cassette. Cassette, anybody? Cassette? From Earl Nightingale. And actually, the cassette was of a 33 recording I don't know who's with me on that, of The Strangest Secret, the first spoken recording to sell 1 million copies. And in it, Earl Nightingale said he had the secret to success. But, it was kind of a double-edged sword because it was also the secret to failure. And that was that we become what we think about. Now, you might say, okay, fine. What's that about? Well, if it were easy to control our thinking, we'd all be thin, rich, and happy. But frankly, there are about 50,000 thoughts that go through our head in a day. Most of them are negative. And managing our thinking is a real challenge. I want you to think about it this way. This is a beautiful Wisconsin fertile field. And it's so fertile, in fact, that if you dropped a seed on it, whoosh, it would just grow whatever you plant it there in a beautiful abundance. Or maybe it's better for you to think about your garden. Okay. So does the field or does your garden, does the field say to the farmer, or does your garden say to you, well, this year I want to be corn. This year I want to be alfalfa. Or your garden, this year I want to be tomatoes. Does it tell you what to plant? No. You decide what to plant. Now, that brain is so much more amazing than the land or your garden. But the truth of it is, you still decide what you plant in it. Faith, hope, love, hatred, anxiety. You decide what you listen to. You decide who you hear from. You decide what you read. You decide what you take in to that amazing mind. You decide what you go, nah, 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 and not listen to. You plant the thoughts in your brain. You have that power. That's very important because one of the most important ways we get things into our brains are by the words we hear. So let's come right back to, as board or staff and talking about fundraising, what are some of the words we use? Oh, let's hit up Joe. He's loaded. Let's put the arm on Gladys. You should give. Your kids had such a great experience here. You should give. You owe us. Get into their pockets. Pick the low-hanging fruit. Loosen the purse string. So I was speaking and I said, are there any icky words that you hear that I don't have on here? So I'd ask you to chat in any icky words I missed. But they came in the last one, they said, shake them down. Trust me, friends, in my now almost 40 years of being in this honorable and noble profession, I have never shook anyone down and taken their wallet. I mean, good night. But yet we'll say that. Let's hit up Joe. Instead, words like let's approach, enduring, gift, consider, meaningful, exciting, partner, make a difference. What do you think? The words we use are important because out of our mouth into our brains, and we become what we think about. I am still as delighted today to have the opportunity to spend my time inspiring generosity as I was 40 years ago, probably more. Because, and let me go on to the next one here. Whoops. And that is, here are some other words, and I'm not real crazy about these either. If you talk to fundraising professionals, they'll say that, and let me see, who do I have out here that I can talk to? Chris is out here. All right, Chris. So Chris, I thank you so much for meeting with me today. I appreciate it. You see, you are a suspect for our organization. And I'm going to qualify you today. That means I'm going to try to figure out from talking to you how much money you have, other properties, maybe some appreciated assets, maybe a donor advised fund. That'd be nice. Yeah. And if it sounds like you've got a lot of money, well, then you're going to be a prospect for us. And after that, I'm going to go back to the office and create my moves management plan where I can move you along until I pitch you. And if you don't say yes right away, I'll just keep working on it till I close you. How does that sound? Well, I hope it sounds as awful to all of you as it does to me. And I don't like those words. I'd rather talk about a prospective giver. I'd talk about shared values and interests. Will you join me? Yep. Partners. Yep. I like to invite people. Yep. And so much so that as we talk about how we work with our board members, I always give them alternative words right away. and the dean and the president of the hospital. I don't care who I'm talking to. If they say, let's hit up, I say, let's approach. And they'll say, what? I said, let's approach. And I'm always gently but firmly saying the words we use are important because it goes into our brains and it reflects on how we feel. Listen to me now, how we feel about the work we're doing. A couple of you in this pre-thing said, how do I get my board members past feeling awkward about raising money? This is it, friends. How you talk about it, how you talk to them about it. And some people say, well, Marcy, I'd never say write to my board member or write to a donor. You're a suspect. And oh, okay. Well, let's look at that a second. How many of you want anyone in your life that speaks differently to your face than behind your back? I don't. There's never a time. I want to tell you, talk about your board members and your donors as if they're always sitting right next to you. And you'll be just fine. There we go. Oops, there we go. Now I'm going to ask you a true false, and I want you to get ready to chat in again. I'm only doing one today, but when I work with my board, I have several of these. So true or false, raising money is a necessary evil in order to have the resources to carry out our mission. Very quickly, type in true or false, please. True or false, please. True or false, please. I'm seeing a lot of falses coming in. Awesome. Wonderful. Thank you. Oh, I love this audience. So I will tell you, normally when I do this, I get 50-50, true or false. So the true ones might be hanging back today, and that's okay. But it is false because there really is a joy in giving. And we have to invite everyone to experience this and live it, which means we have to also live it ourselves. We have to be givers ourselves. And it's a dialogue, not a monologue. You owe us, you should. It's a tell me what you think. Tell me what is most meaningful for you. And to remember that we can help our board and all of our donors take their success, whether it's $25 or 25 million, and do something significant with it. Wow. Do something that makes a difference with it. Do something that helps another human being with it. Are their success to significance. And in order to do this, in order to get people away from it's a necessary evil, we have to challenge our own limiting beliefs on money and wealth. And I'll try to quickly do that. Oh my goodness, my time is going. And understand that when you have a board that doesn't give, or you have fundraisers that aren't out there seeing people, it most often stems from leadership, board and staff, that have this past culture of raising money as ugh, and money is dirty, and and it's hard to raise money, and people won't like you if you raise money, and all of that stuff we've got around it. And they're bringing that past culture and beliefs into your organization. Best way to do it is to try to talk about it. Hopefully you can change some of those beliefs. So what are you thinking about when you think about wealth and money? What have you heard growing up? Money doesn't grow on, anyone chat for me out there. Money is the root of all. This is the one I really want you to do for me, please. Blank rich. Chat in what fits in that line. Blank rich. Yep, I'm seeing evil in trees. Thank you. Blank rich. Oh, yep. And I'm sorry, it hurts my heart. You're right. It's what I get all the time. Even from my high schoolers that I'm teaching how to ask. I say blank rich. They say, hey, there's a problem here, friends. There's nothing filthy about being wealthy. It's our own junk. It's our own. Yeah, you're absolutely right. I'm seeing Nancy. You bet I'm only using part of that verse. You're absolutely right. Money is not the root of all evil. It's what the money makes us do. The love of money. So it's when the ends justify the means. But anyway, back to filthy rich. Here's another truism I want you to know when you're talking to your board, when you're talking board members, when you're talking to anybody. If you've got this stuff in your head, sorry, but you have to take yourself with you in every conversation you have. So you're bringing that mindset with you. You're bringing almost that resentment with you. You're looking at your own wealth and saying, maybe it doesn't stack up. You're resenting it a little bit. When we resent something, it's like taking poison and expecting the other person to die because we feel they've wronged us. A wealthy person hasn't wronged you. They've been successful. They've been successful. We've got to work on that. So instead, we have to think about the fact that we give those wealthy people an opportunity to invest in something that gets them excited. And I wrote a little song about this. I hear you're not going to hear my music, but that's okay. I'll sing it a cappella. And people love to give me money to make a difference. Bump, bump, bump. People love to give me money. I'm the link to their investment. Now, normally I go over it a bunch of times, but we don't have time for that today. I want you to put that in your head, though, and know when I use the ask, I'm going to teach you, I hope, in the for a $25 million ask. As I walked in, I was saying, people love to give me money to make a difference. Bump, bump, bump. People love to give me money. I'm the link to their investment. I want to put that in my brain because you become what you think about. So what are you thinking when you're on your calls? What are you thinking when you're asking? Figure it out. So 100% board giving. First off, I'm trying to choose the right words because words have power. Disappointed. That's a little gentler word. That we're still even asking this question. It's a given, friends. 100% of your board needs to be giving. Period. Period. There shouldn't even be a discussion on this. If you don't have a board giving policy, you need to have one in place. 100% of your board gives and gives money. You know, the whole idea, well, I give my time. Thank you. That's wonderful. That's wonderful. Let's add dollars to that. Because just giving your time is almost demeaning to everybody around you. It's almost like, well, my time has all this value and other people's don't that are giving money. And the idea that people can't give the same amount, I get that. I totally get that. So I'm not proposing a dollar amount in a giving poly. I'm proposing a gift that is significant and meaningful for you when you're proud to share. So for example, I work a lot with the Ys. They sometimes bring in people who are on scholarships to sit on the board so they get that perspective. Membership scholarships. Well, they clearly can't give the same level as some of the other board members do. But they can make a gift and they can be very proud of the gift they've made because for them it's significant and it's meaningful. I'm not talking about the person who is capable of giving you 50,000 gives you $10 and feels like that's significant and meaningful because it's not. And folks see right through that. So you have to be able to talk about your gift and it's got to gel. It's got to make sense. Why is this so important? Development needs to have a seat at the board table. I've seen changes in leadership where suddenly the development folks are kicked out of the room. They should be sitting in on every one of your board meetings. They should be right there because that organization is saying philanthropy is important to our mission. Philanthropy is what helps keep this place moving. Philanthropy needs what you focus on, you grow. Each and every board meeting, there should be a focus on philanthropy and how our board members supporting that and how our board members helping the development team. So it adds credibility. When board members give, they're saying development has a seat at the table. It demonstrates pride in their organization with their giving. Regardless of your nonprofit's mission, your investment says, I'm proud of what we're doing here. And people take their cue from leaders like you. Others are watching those board members. You'll see in a few minutes. You'll see in a few minutes how important that is in people making their decisions to give. Give your time, you inspire time. Give your money, you inspire money. People take their cue from leaders like you. Board members, you're being watched. Many funders require this. I had a gal who just left her job because she was no longer going to lie on the grant application and check that box that said 100% of her board gave because they weren't. And I said, good move. You don't need to live an unethical life like that because your board can't figure it out. Or we can't figure out how to talk to them about why it's so important. But a lot of funders, especially in the grant world, require 100% board participation, board giving. The board, with the ED they hire, are responsible for the organization's success. This is really important. You know, at the end of the day, the board and their partnership with the senior leadership team, you're responsible for the place. Certainly, investing in it is kind of a no-brainer. So 100% board giving. So let's jump into, why does a board member or anyone give, really? And there's a really good friend and colleague of mine. Her name is Penelope Burke. Penelope Burke. And she surveys thousands and thousands and thousands of donors over the years and has asked them, why do you give? So if we were together, I'd have you chat in why you think people give. But for the sake of time, I'm going to give you the top list. There it is. Number one, and in all my decades in this, it has not changed. They believe in your mission and want to make a difference. So right there, if you're bored, why do people give? They believe in your mission and want to make a difference. Well, let's hope our board members believe in our mission and want to make a difference. Or why are they even on the board? Right? I mean, maybe there's a mismatch there that we have to take a look at. Maybe we have to clarify what it means to serve on our board, right? They believe in your mission and want to make a difference. But look at what comes in number two. People are saying, I gave because I was asked to give. There's not a little bird goes around, you could get money, you could get money. No, we've got to let people know that this is what their money can do and why it's so exciting to give. They're asked. Number three, they believe you're stable and ethical. Friends, this hurts my heart. When I started in this business, that was about 23 on the list, was way down. Now it's up there in number three. There have been so many unfortunate stories of embezzlements and misuse of dollars and not using money for what the donor wants. So there's a trust issue. So another way board members really help us is they give their gifts and they make sure that we are following up with those donor gifts exactly the way those donors want us to use them. Very important. To honor someone or something long-standing, to extend their values. Oh, look at that. You know, it's, if you think that your mission is the most important thing in the world, that is terrific. That is terrific. But I may not. And that's okay too. No judgment. No judgment. They want to extend their values with their giving. What's important to them, their values, maybe the environment, maybe education. But look at the next one. A high regard for the staff and the volunteer leadership. If we were together, I'd have you all say, that's me, that's me. That's each and every one of you on this call. That's each and every one of you on this call, in this webinar. A high regard for the staff and volunteer leadership. That's you. That's you. They're watching you. They believe in you. They respect what you're doing. And finally, to belong to something and help their community. Now, someone always says, oh, it's taxes, it's taxes. When these are met, taxes are used to magnify the amount we can give. Taxes are used to amplify the amount we can give. People don't give just to avoid taxes. The heart's got to be there first. And people want to do good. So I'm sure many of you have seen this. 557 billion were given last year in our country. And out of that, by and large, the most was given from individuals, living and dead. And just to let you know, and a lot of people think it's, and there's an increase in the foundation, that's private family foundations. Again, that comes back to trust. Some of the people who used to make major gifts are now doing it into their own foundations because they don't trust the organizations they're giving to are going to do what they want them to want to have done. People say it's to avoid taxes, etc. Not in my experience. It's to have control. And just to go back into time, back in the mid 80s, it was almost exactly the same thing. Individuals was a tiny bit higher, but foundations was a tiny bit lower. So that's kind of balanced out. Corporations are up 1%, bequests are the same. So it hasn't changed in the last 3 decades. The proportions of who gives pretty much the same. So it's individuals. And people want to help their way. This is all of the different things that they supported in this. what I want you to hear about this is you've got, if you're not an educational program, I bet you've got an educational program. So you can help. And here's where your board members can help. Having you kind of have a conversation around what would get Jim or Gladys or Alice or Damien most excited about giving to us. What are their passions? And another way of saying this is a Marcyism. It's not about the money. It's about what the money does and really does. And everybody in your organization and every board member should be able to articulate that. What does the money do? And what does it really do in your organization? Help your board members say that. Make sure you as staff can say this. So let me give you an example of this. This is one of my clients in Calhoun, Georgia. They're a small Adventist high school. And they went from about 110,000 a year to 20 million. We did it in about 5 years. And this was on one of our events celebrating the new building addition. We said, thank you. Our campus is transformed. Our students are receiving scholarship assistance, and you're ensuring the excellence of our academic and extracurricular programs through your generosity. You are having an eternal impact. Do you see the difference? The first piece is, what does the money do? Scholarships, buildings, academic, extracurricular programs. That's what the money does. What does the money really do? It ensures those kids have that walk with Christ. That's what's important to those donors. That's what's important, what the money does and really does. And we have to always be sure we're talking about it. Okay, let's move on to my wonderful cycle of successful relationships. Doug Lawson said, and he's passed now, but he said, philanthropy is the mystical mingling, not the exact science, of a joyful giver, not a what can we put you down for? You should give. You're loaded. An artful asker, not a bully, not a guilter, and a grateful recipient. Thank you. Thank you. We appreciate you. Right? We got so excited about that. A colleague of mine, Don Gray, and I put it together on a cycle. So the question you're asking today is, what does your board want to do and can do all around this cycle? That's what you're asking yourself. Right? And to be clear, if you say to your board, will you help me? They're going to say, what am I getting into here? If you say, will you help me have a beginning conversation with the XYZ company or Charlie Smith to discuss how he feels about our organization, that they can answer. A confused donor doesn't give. A confused fundraiser doesn't ask. Oh, I'll get back to it, Nancy. A confused board member or volunteer doesn't help. Confusion is your biggest enemy. Clarity, clarity, clarity. Is it easy to be clear? No, but it's our goal. So here it is again. I'm going to go all the way around it now very quickly with you. Ooh. And starting out with, consider shared values and interests. Do you know how I said earlier it's the words we use? Well, you've seen this box as prospect identification. What data can we do? What do you call it? Creeping on Facebook can we do to find out about this? I think they're gonna be loaded. But instead, I'm saying consider shared values and interests. Think about a conversation with your board that says, all right, everybody, take out your pads and pens now and write down everybody in your Rolodex. Remember Rolodexes? Everybody you know who's got a lot of money. Who wants to do that? Who wants to finger up their friends to be hit up? I don't. Our board doesn't either. If you said instead, hopefully, you're serving on this board because you believe in this place and you believe in what we're doing. And we think that there might be others in your life because people who like the same stuff they do. I love people who scuba dive because I'm passionate about it. Maybe you've got your kids play soccer and you know all the soccer people. We love people who love the things we love. So I love this organization because this is why. And who do you know that would share the excitement for our mission? That's a very different question and might have some resources to help invest in us if we could have a conversation and then help us begin that conversation. Some of the questions on the sheet were about, how do I get a board member to open doors for me? Well, I think first off, it's How do you have a thoughtful conversation with your board that says, think about why you love this place. Think about why you're serving. And then think about others in your universe, in your space and place. Or maybe not that you particularly know, but you suspect because maybe they're not personal friends of yours, but people that you feel would share the passion that you have for our work. That's where we start. That's a completely different question. And you get a completely different response from your board. So we begin that conversation. I got to move us along here. Um, here are some questions that you can use to connect, and you'll get the slides. We connect in what I'm calling creating the joyful giver. You probably know the word cultivation. Now, it's not necessarily bad. We cultivate a lot of corn here, right? But I'd rather spend my days creating a joyful giver. That makes me happy at night. And it's very possible. What is the gift that will bring them joy? And I hope it supports my organization, but I want to be sure each and everything I do always inspires their philanthropic spirit. And as we come around that, when we look at creating a joyful giver, again, for time today, I summarized it into one slide. It's everything you do to help a prospective giver better understand everything you do. And you say to yourself, where in the things that we do to help people understand what we do can a board member help me? Where would a board member be comfortable helping me? Well, I'm going to ask them to help me that way. They can be your partner in doing that, as can your staff colleagues, as can other people, other donors. If there's no silo around this, sharing what an organization does. And then what in the world are you even raising money for? Well, you need to find those vibrant options for giving in one of two places. How many places? Two. One is that strategic plan. It says, what do we need to have here to get to that amazing future? The second is our operation budget. What do we need to be able to do better right now and today to have our best impact right now? And you take all those ideas and you put them into some giving option buckets. So you don't say, well, you could do this, or 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 you could do this. Your donors are overwhelmed. Or you don't say, you can give to our annual fund, or you can give to the fund, or you can give to us, and you have no choice. I mean, think of that as you come into my restaurant and I say, hey, welcome. Tonight you're getting meatloaf, mashed potatoes, and green beans. And you say, oh, wait a minute here. Where's the menu? No, no menu. That's it. Nah. So somewhere between 3,000 items on the menu and meatloaf are a small number of giving options that you can articulate to people. So as we go around that corner, we get to the point where we've engaged them and we've listened, and you can help your board with this. We've listened to what seems to be in their heart to speak. So I want to tell you here, I'm going to give you a shameless plug for my book. This talk is called Empowering Your Board to Serve as Effective Development Ambassadors, as is my book. No, it's not a sexy, great title. Right. But I wanted all those words. I wanted board members to be empowered. I want them to serve. I want them to be effective. I want them to be development or fundraising ambassadors. So all of these questions are answered in there. And as a result of today, and Erin's got it in the chat, you can go to my website and get the book for $10 plus shipping. It's normally $25. If that moves you, that's great. And it'll fill in some of the blanks. Let's get around to doing that ask. I start each of my board trainings by saying to board members, you never have to ask for a dime. Never, never. Ask only if you're comfortable. If it gets your stomach in knots and you just don't want to do it, don't do it. Because to be honest, in that cycle, helping us create joyful givers and saying thank you is probably more important than that one moment in time when we ask, because it sets the stage for that ask to be successful. Do you understand? So only if they're comfortable, but they have to give their own gift and they have to be able to talk about it. And that's the most important when they have anything to do with joining you on a call where you will make an ask as a team member or another board member, or talking to other people about giving. they need to have made their own gift. So learn that 3-sentence ask. And here, understand too, you should never, you should never like drop that ask bomb on somebody. You need to be sure that you say to them as you set up a call, you've heard quite a bit about our program, and today I'm bringing Gladys from the board along so we can really zero in on exactly how you'd like to participate. So you let them know you're going to ask today, even though you've been having these meetings. And here's my 3-sentence ask very quickly. The first sentence has to answer the question, why are you talking to me? Not, hey, you over there? Yeah, you by the car? How about $1 million for our cause? What? You don't even know who we are? Oh, instead, why are you talking to me? You've experienced cancer in your home. You have been on our board since our inception. You have been an incredible supporter and friend of this organization for so long. You have been a leader in our community. They might not even know your organization, but their business is a leader, and you want to talk to them about lifting up the whole community with their sponsorship. But why are you talking to me? The second thing is you understand why this particular thing. You understand, you get it, and it excites you too, or it bugs you too, or whatever, but you understand the specific thing that I'm going to talk to you about giving to. And finally, would you consider a gift of a specific amount and a specific program? Or it can be something like, would you consider, well, I'll show you some. So normally we'd spend more time with this, but I want to just give you a few examples. So the Academy that I told you went from $100,000 to 20 million. Here's one of her. These are all calls from my clients. Jim and Susan, you have been providing an Academy experience for worthy students for years. Worthy students there are scholarship students. So Jim and Susan had been giving, I don't know, I think 5,000 every year to support worthy students. You understand that finances can keep students from experiencing the loving, Christian, safe environment of our school. Now, note, you would not say any of this as fast as I'm saying it now. Would you consider a gift of $50,000 to establish the Smith Scholarship Endowment and support an Academy worthy student forever? And they said, sure, we'd love to. Yeah. For operations. So it isn't just endowment. It can be for money you need right here and now. You've experienced the role sports play in the life of our students and with your own kids. So you've got kids, they do sports. You understand that having staff and equipment to provide these activities is vital. So you get it. Games just don't happen by themselves, and they don't happen without the proper stuff. Would you consider a gift of $5,000 to help support our sports program? Now that goes right into that operations line in your budget, sports, right there, $5,000. It doesn't say we're going to buy 6 bats and 10 balls. It's right into that line. So it's for the operating budget. Okay. For an annual increase, why do donors give you 500 each year and 500 and 500 and 500? Because that's what you asked for. So your board and you can say you've been a loyal friend and supporter of Planet Tree program for several years. This is in Minnesota. You understand the special connection this experience gives our participants of all ages with nature. It's really a cool thing. Would you consider increasing your gift to $5,000 to make a bigger impact in our program this year? Now, one of 3 things is going to happen. They're going to say, oh, sure, I can do that. Sure. Or they're going to say, no, that's going to be a little bit tough for me. In which you come back with, would you consider continuing your gift of $2,500? Sure. Or they say, you know what, this year's really rough for me. I can't do anything. Rarely is that going to happen. And a lot of the times you're going to get the increase. When I knew that I had something that would work for anything was when I'm at my kitchen sink, son of a fundraiser. Mom, you have been my biggest fan and supporter my whole life. Yes, David? You understand that looking sharp for this interview will give the best first impression. Yes, David? Would you consider ironing my blue shirt? Now, how many of you think that kid got a yes? Oh, he did. And if any of you have kids, you know exactly what happened next. And Mom, I have to leave in like 5 minutes, Mom, 5 minutes. So, the shirt. Another wonderful ask is when you don't know your donors as well. So one thing about writing these asks and giving your board member comfort is that I use this 3-sentence ask to tell a board member or a dean or another volunteer what's going on in a call, what's going on with a donor. If you've done your homework and you've had those visits and built those relationships and can write the ask summarizes why are you talking to them? What are you talking to them about? And how much is it going to take? On the way to that, you can use this to ask for the appointment. You can use this to say, you have been a wonderful partner to our organization. You understand the important work we do. Would you consider continuing a conversation to see how you might get more involved? 3-sentence ask. 3-sentence ask. And I'll tell you, I do a lot of feasibility studies where I'm out talking to major donors. And so many of them say to me, I say no because I don't understand what they want. They talk on and on and on and on and on. And I'm not going to say yes if I don't get what's going on. The other thing they tell me is a lot of times I don't even bother to learn their names. It'll be somebody different next time. So that's my little Marcy personal message to all of you development people on the phone, on the call. Stay in your work if you possibly can. So here's that 3-sentence ask. No sentence can be longer than 17 words because that's all our brain can take. And I know that was fast. So I'm giving you access to a worksheet, and Erin will put it in the chat. And if you go to www.marcyheim.com/ask worksheet, give it a second. It takes a while to pull up. You will get steps towards making this ask. And you'll also magically get signed up for my twice a month blog. I hope it serves you. If not, if you need help unsubscribing, we're happy to do it. I think most of us know how to do that though. So there's my ask worksheet for you. And I want to say at this point, this is really important to me. I'm not done yet, but I generally run out of time. So here's a QR code or a link where you can give me some feedback on today. And I particularly appreciate that because I know that this is a shortened and fast version of how board members can be a part of things. So please take a picture of that or click on that link and do that. Okay, and Erin, if you can put that link in I would appreciate that Infusionsoft link for me, that would be great. I'm going to jump off it now though, because I got to keep going. All right, so now we've come around, we've created that joyful giver, we've made that artful ask, and now we're invoking the grateful recipient. And friends, we do not do a good job of being a grateful recipient. And I get it. And it's so important for us to say thank you and genuinely say thank you and artfully, oh, thank you, and artfully say thank you. But we're busy and everybody is thinking, well, who am I going to ask next? And we don't stop to say, how can I be sure that my donor enjoys the giving, that this has been the best thing they've ever done and they can't wait to raise their hand and say what's next? So it's so important that we do this. And looking at this cycle overall, let me tell you that where your board members are most impactful is here at the beginning, considering shared values and interests, and then helping you work with others who share their values. So sometimes this means that we actually have to sit down with our board and say, what values do you think people have? What values does our board have that makes you all around this table? Is it a work ethic? Is it faith? Is it wanting to lift people out of poverty? What are the values? Is it education? What are the values we share? What are the interests we share? So it's helping board members even realize what those are and beginning that conversation, you bet. But, understand, here's another thing about having your board members help you is, and write this down, please, because I don't think I have it on a slide. Volunteer-led, staff-driven. Volunteer-led, staff-driven. What I mean by that is your board members are not fundraisers. They are not professional fundraisers. That's not what they do. They're doctors and lawyers and carpenters and I don't know, nurses and whatever, the teachers or whatever they do that are on your board. Retired, you're the fundraiser. So the volunteer can get the idea. You have to help them and don't assume. This is just deadly. So hear me on this. Don't assume just because somebody is the president of XYZ company that they know how to write that email that connects you to them. Staff driven, volunteer led, staff driven. So, you might need to say, hey, would it be all right if I gave you a little sample wording that you might want to use in that email? I've had the president of in Minneapolis, hmm, Cargill, say to me, Marcy, thank you so much for sending me that draft wording. He's a smart guy, running a international business. So I volunteer led but staff driven. We have to really help them along. There are those rare board members who have been with us a long time and those rare past donors who have been with us a long time that we can eventually get to a point where they can take some of these things and run with it. But by and large, shake off this idea that you're going to talk to them once and they're going to go with it, or you're going to tell them to do something and they're going to follow through. You really have it really involves a lot of support on your part as they start helping you in this process. And where they're the most impactful is considering those shared values and interests, beginning that conversation, creating that joyful giver, and here being a grateful recipient. If your board helped you in those places and never ask a person for a dime, you would be light years ahead. Light years ahead. Say to your board members, I can speak that ask. Now, somebody said in one of the questions, when do you use a board member to do certain things? Well, that's real easy. When the donor says, well, I'm assuming the dean's going to come out and talk to me about this. You betcha. Not little Marcy fundraiser. It'll be the dean of the college. I raised money here at Wisconsin for 23 years. Or somebody says to you, well, now the executive director or the principal or whatever, but they're saying, now I'm thinking that, Sally's going to be out here talking to me about this. So the donor determines when they want a specific person talking to them about it. And believe me, they will tell you. But otherwise, I think we as fundraisers can do a great job of this. All right, I got to keep us moving here. The reason I put this up is to example of proper stewardship. This was a project I worked on for a greenhouse. After all the money was raised, all the money's raised, we're ready to go. Somebody said, oh, whoops, we need a cogen plant on the other part of campus. That opened up this whole can of worms about, is it going to shade the greenhouse? Long story short, it took us 5 years to figure it out. 5 years. And you've got 5 years to figure it out. And I just was like, oh my gosh, like those 4 people on the end there, they were grandchildren. They had used their inheritance from their grandmother to make their gift in her honor. 5 years. Everybody was on board. Everybody was in with this and delighted at this ribbon cutting ceremony because we kept telling them how much we appreciated their support. We let them know what was going on. The community was weighing in, the blah, 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 blah. They took the shade things, all of that stuff. So as long as we communicate and show that appreciation, we can withstand almost any problem. So ask your board, what's the best way you were thanked, appreciated, or recognized? What was important and meaningful for them? And when I'm making these feasibility study calls too, a lot of times I'll say, what are things that we could do better as development professionals? Almost to a one, they say, can you ever say thank you without your hand out? Can you ever say thank you without your hand out? Thank you so much for your support. And we hope we can count on you again next year. Or thank you for your support. We're so delighted to have you part of our giving family. Yeah, that just means it's going to come back around again. Thank you, shut up. Or thank you, this is what your money does. But just be grateful. And if any of you put those nasty envelopes in your receipt letters, don't do it. You might say to me, Marcy, but it generates money. And I'll say to you, sure, but you have no idea the ill will it's generating. Major donors have said to me, I got that ask in my thank you letter and I took them out of my will the same day. Be very, very careful. You don't need that touch. thank you without your handout. Thank you without your handout. Okay. So last, we got 5 minutes. You can have everything in life you want if you'll just help enough people get what they want. Help your board members figure out how they want to help you. And giving yourself and asking, you are invited as board and volunteers to experience the joy of giving. Only then can you be true partners in artful asking. So the first step is your board's giving. And let me tell you, that's not your board chair standing up and saying, well, now everybody here, we're going to, I want you to think about your own gifts now. And, okay, then next. No, that's bringing it up at a meeting. But then it's you as a development professional and your board chair visiting with each and every board member, one-on-one, eyeball to eyeball. It's an individual. How's it going on the board? What's most important to you about what we're doing? Where do you think we can be stronger and better? How would you like your philanthropy to make a difference here? Individual visits that should happen at least once a year, and I prefer twice. You don't just, have a big announcement. Vibrant options for giving. People give from the heart, not economics. When the need is recognized, the heart moves the hand. If we had time, I could tell you 1,000 stories about gifts that were far bigger than we ever dreamed because of their passion for what it was doing. This is Marcy's move management. I drew all these things. That third guy there with the heart, I got to work on his eyes. He looks like it's Halloween. But you start out, this donor is like this open vessel, and you have to start out, do you want to support us right now? Do you want something that keeps us sustainable forever? Part of the strategic plan or the operating fund. And then as you visit with them and talk to them, you zero in on what's the most important thing in their heart. This is all about giving people the joy of giving. The joy of giving. There's just nothing like it. So every master was once a disaster. Please don't expect your board members to get it right the first time. Did you get on that bike and take off, or did you wobble a little bit? And even for you as fundraisers, give yourself some grace, my friends. The more you do it, the better, the more comfortable this will all be. And I have 3 minutes. I say this to you with all my heart. It's not how many doors are open to you that counts. That's not really it. It's how many you're brave enough to walk through. How many are brave enough to walk through? Now, listen to me. I believe you are brave. And until you're brave enough on your own, will you please know that Marcy Heim is sending you brave vibes each and every day for the work you do, for being part of this honorable and noble profession. So again, please give me some feedback. And I thank you for being on the call today. And I actually, Peter, have 2 minutes according to my clock left. So if you've seen a prevalent question there or there's a burning question there, I'd be happy to hear it. Or better yet, even a comment. And would you also chat, if you don't get into this, what was your biggest takeaway? Yeah.
Well, Marcy, I don't know how you did it. That's an impressive feat to get through everything you did in less than an hour. We do have some questions from before that we will obviously be sending to you,
Thank you.
To address in your blog next week. I did see one, and now I've got to scroll through that I wouldn't mind answering.
And Peter, there also were, how do you best build board development committees that are engaged and actively involved in fundraising efforts was in the signups. And again, it's the same thing where you've got to say, you're interviewing each one of them to say, how do you feel about this work? What are your passions about this work? What do you think the values are about this work? And are you excited about inspiring others to join you? I mean, these are direct conversations. They're not pressure conversations. And how are you most comfortable helping us? I didn't have time to get to that, Peter, but we're all different people. Of course, I'm completely shy and would never be able to stand on a stage or do anything like that, right? Yeah, I'm most comfortable when I'm on a stage or in front of on a scene like this. But the number one fear of people is public speaking. So if you say, gee, would you talk to your Kiwanis group about our project? Ah, that might be the worst thing in the world to ask them to do. So when I do this board training and we go around that cycle, I ask them all of the things that organization wants them to consider doing and saying, what are you comfortable with? What do you see yourself doing? Not, I need you to do this. What do you see yourself comfortable doing? So that was one.
I love that suggestion, actually. Having been on boards and recently joining one myself, we've had that kind of conversation with my new executive director. So I really think that's a great way to get people involved early and thinking about the mission and how they contribute as a board member.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we are at time. I'm going to ask one more question, and I think it'll be a softball.
Okay.
Nancy is wondering if your book is appropriate to give to each board member.
Um, that's exactly what you're supposed to do with it. I wrote this to the board members and the staff picks it up. Yep, I wrote it to a board member. I mean, it's definitely, God, what a kind thing to ask. It's definitely all about putting this book in your board's hands. It's easy read. It's a pretty big type. And it takes them around the cycle. And it also has the 3-sentence ask in it. And it's $25 on Amazon, but $10 if you use my link. Yep. Thank you so much,
What a
Peter.
deal. What a deal. Well, Marcy, I want to thank you so much for your time, your talent, your contribution here. You've given me and all of our audience a ton to chew on and to think about to try to help make our organizations better from learning how to ask for the funds we need to fulfill our missions. And you've done it in an extremely entertaining way. This has been an absolute delight. Thank you so much for joining us, Marcy. I don't have any envelope to give you. I just really appreciate your time and everything you have done for us today.
Thank you, Peter. And the best way you can thank me is invest in those boards you're on. Okay, deal?
That's a deal. What a
Okay.
fantastic thought to leave with. Thank you, everyone who attended,
you.
for your time. Thank you, Marcy, for the presentation. And we look forward to seeing you next time. Take care.
You bet. Goodbye, all.